In 2004, the world of football witnessed something extraordinary. A 14-year-old kid stepped onto a Major League Soccer pitch, instantly becoming the youngest professional in league history. His name was Freddie Adu, and within weeks, people were calling him the future of the sport. Sponsors lined up. The media compared him to Ronaldo and Messi. Fans believed they were watching the birth of a legend. He was hailed as the next Pelé. Some outlets even predicted he could become America's answer to football's rising stars in Europe. But instead of dominating world football, Adu's career faded into obscurity. How did the boy once called better than Ronaldo vanish from the spotlight so quickly? Think about that for a second. How does someone go from being the most hyped teenager in the game to almost forgotten? To understand the rise, it helps to go back to where it all started. Growing up in Ghana, Adu often played against older kids, sharpening his technical skills and boosting his confidence early. When his family moved to the United States in 1997, he carried that same energy with him. In local youth clubs, his natural ball control and fearless ability to take on defenders stood out. And before long, national attention followed. Can you imagine being a teenager and suddenly having the whole country watching your every move? By late 2003, Major League Soccer had already signed Adu to a professional contract. DC United made him the #1 pick in the 2004 MLS Super Draft. That was just the beginning of his meteoric rise. On April 3, 2004, he debuted against the San Jose Earthquakes, only 14 years and 306 days old. Just 2 weeks later, he scored his first goal against the Metro Stars, becoming the youngest goal scorer in MLS history. Think about that. Most kids at that age are just starting high school, while he was scoring in front of thousands of fans. That first season was remarkable. Adu featured in all 30 regular season games.
That's a great ball by Freddie Adu. Even better touch by Mendiola.
Scoring 5 goals and recording 3 assists. Despite his age, he played a role in DC United's playoff run, which ended with them lifting the MLS Cup. For many fans, that moment felt like the start of a new era for American soccer. Looking back, it's clear this was the peak of his career. I still remember reading the reports from that season, and even then it felt surreal. A 14-year-old competing with grown professionals. Did you follow that season? If you did, you probably still remember the buzz. With that success came a wave of hype that grew almost uncontrollably. The media made Adu a household name in the United States and beyond. He was labeled the next Pelé, and even placed alongside future greats like Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, before either of them had fully established themselves. American fans were hungry for a superstar, and Adu was positioned as the answer. Sponsorships, TV appearances, endorsements, all arrived quickly. The attention was intense for someone still learning the game. Performances in youth international tournaments added even more fuel. He represented the US at the 2003 FIFA Under-17 World Championship, showing glimpses of the skill scouts praised. Later, in the Under-20 World Cups of 2005 and 2007, he stood out again. The highlight? Canada, 2007, a brilliant hat trick against Poland in the group stage. That one game reignited the talk of him being a future global superstar. If you've seen those clips, you know why. The confidence, the movement, the finishing, all looked world-class. Would you have believed then that his career would fade the way it did? The turning point came in Europe. Injuries slowed his progress at crucial times. Coaches often said his physical strength wasn't enough for the demands of top leagues. He had flashes of brilliance, but the consistency never came. Many observers felt he had been pushed into the spotlight before he was truly ready. Have you ever seen a young player rush too soon? It rarely works out well. Transfers only made the situation worse. In December 2006, Adu moved from DC United to Real Salt Lake. By mid-2007, he had been sold to Benfica for around $2 million. On paper, it sounded like a dream move. In reality, it marked the beginning of a long and unstable journey. At Benfica, he made only 21 appearances. Coaches questioned his decision-making and physical readiness. Before long, he slipped down the pecking order. Think about that. How many 18-year-olds would thrive under that kind of scrutiny? In a new environment, thousands of miles from home. A loan to Monaco in 2008 was meant to give him a fresh start, but it offered little improvement. Only 9 appearances, mostly off the bench. Short spells like these gave him no chance to build rhythm or confidence. If you've ever tried to settle into something new while constantly being shifted around, you know how impossible that can feel. Without steady playing time, his momentum disappeared. Constant transfers meant he was always adapting. New teammates, new systems, even new languages and cultures. Reports pointed to agent and management issues. Adu was moved more for business than football. For a teenager still finding his way, that lack of stability meant his development stalled badly. Returning to MLS in 2011 with Philadelphia Union seemed like a chance to restart his career. Over 2 seasons, he played 35 games and looked sharper than he had in years. But the spark fans once believed in was no longer there. Many hoped it was the start of a comeback. But deep down, doubts were already forming. After leaving Philadelphia, the instability continued. In 2013, he signed with Bahia in Brazil, but lasted only a few months. The years that followed became a trail of short stops. QPS in Finland, Las Vegas Lights in the US, Österlen FF in Sweden. In total, 15 clubs across 9 different countries. That constant movement told its own story. He never found a stable home. What do you think? Can any player truly perform at their best when they're forced to start over again and again? On the international stage, Adu's senior career never matched the early hype either. He earned 17 caps for the US and scored 2 goals. His last major tournament came in the 2011 Gold Cup. He impressed in the semifinal against Mexico, but never secured a long-term place. For someone once called the face of American soccer, the ending came far too soon. The final chapter arrived in 2021 with Österlen FF in Sweden. His time there was short. The club released him, saying he wasn't fit enough to compete. That decision effectively ended his professional career. And just like that, Adu vanished from top-level football. Looking back, Adu's story is a mix of brilliance and lost opportunity. The records remain: the youngest debut in MLS history, the youngest goal scorer, standout youth performances, proof of the extraordinary talent he once had. But the essential pieces never came together. His physical development lagged behind elite demands. Consistency never stuck. Management and transfers worked against him. It wasn't a lack of talent, it was a lack of structure to maximize it. And that makes you wonder, how many other players have we lost to the same mistakes? Comparisons to Ronaldo and Messi only made things worse. Ronaldo grew step by step at Sporting, then Manchester United. Messi was carefully nurtured through Barcelona's academy. Adu, by contrast, was thrown into the global spotlight at just 14, carrying expectations far beyond reason. The weight of that hype was unfair and ultimately damaging. Personally, I see Adu's story as one of the saddest examples in modern football. Very few players have carried that level of hype so young. When I work with players today, I think of stories like his. They remind me patience, proper development, and choosing clubs that value growth over marketing. Those matter more than hype. What about you? If you were guiding a prodigy, would you chase the big contract or the patient pathway? The lesson is clear. Talent and hype are never enough. Success requires consistency, mentorship, smart decisions. Without them, even the brightest abilities can fade. Freddie Adu's journey will always stand as one of football's biggest what-ifs. He showed the world flashes of genius, but without the right support, that brilliance never became what it could have been. And maybe that's the real lesson. Talent alone is never enough. It takes patience, smart choices, and the right guidance to truly succeed. So, what do you think about Adu's story? Was he failed by the system, or crushed by the pressure too soon? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe to Enigma Path for more untold stories of football.